Hey guys, what's up? Ratatoing here, and welcome to my list of the worst movies that I saw in 2016. Now keep in mind, not all the movies on this list are from this year. In fact, out of the 6 movies that are on this list, only 2 of them are actually from this year. But for my best list, it's going to be just movies from this year. The only reason I made a worse list of movies that I saw this year, the only reason I did that was because I don't really hate very many movies, so like that's the main reason why that there isn't very many bad films on my worst list. Like I think I don't know, there wasn't one for 2014, but there was only like 2 of them for 2015. But anyway, I just really want to get started with this because I really don't want this to take too long. I'm going to try and give a quick summary. So, number 6 is Gem and the Holograms. Now, I wouldn't necessarily call this a bad movie, but I would just say that it's just not personally for me because it's not for my age group. This movie is really for 6 to 8-year-old girls, and you're asking a 15-year-old guy what his thoughts are, then you're not going to really get a valid opinion from the age group that is designed for this movie. It's just personally, I didn't enjoy it. A few things I liked, like the music for one was good, but I just didn't exactly, love this one because, it just wasn't for my age group. And also, Jason Blum, who's part of Blumhouse, he produced this, which I kind of found shocking because Blumhouse produces a lot of horror movies. And Scooter freaking Braun, who's Justin Bieber's manager, produced this. I thought that was hilarious when I saw his name in the credits because, this movie's about music and music stars. And freaking somebody like Scooter Braun ends up producing this movie. That is hilarious. Number 5, Zoolander II. Now, this is a sequel to the 2001 comedy film Zoolander, which was honestly really, really clever and really, really funny because it took shots at the fashion industry, something that nobody ever really bothered to, make fun of. But Zoolander 2 is basically the same characters in a spy movie. I'm not kidding, that's what it is. Now, I know I gave this movie a C+ in my original review, but now I'm really leaning more towards a C- because I was a bit too generous with movies like earlier this year, but this movie, if you see my review, I gave it a C+. Right now I'm saying I'm giving it a C- because the characters were great, as always, and the cameos, while they felt very movie 43-ish, they were kind of funny, and, sorry, my nose is pretty cold, and the only other thing that I thought was funny in this movie was the scene with Justin Bieber. That was hilarious. But in all honesty, just overall, Zoolander 2 is just a mediocre movie that they just thought they could churn out and get fans to like it because it's a sequel to a comedy film that so many people enjoy. But I'm here to tell you that that's not the case, and it's not that good. Number 4, Blair Witch. Now, I don't think I did a review for this one, but I'm just gonna say this. It markets itself as a sequel, but here's the thing. It's just a rehash of the original. Like, it markets itself as a sequel, and the overall plot is that of a sequel, because the plot is about the girl from the first Blair Witch movie, her brother going out and looking for her, because her brother still believes that she's out there. So the overall plot seems like that of a sequel. The overall vibe, though, feels like a complete rehash of the first movie. While the first Blair Witch movie wasn't that good, it scared the shit out of so many people because they thought it was real, and it really brought the found footage aspect popular. It's like they skinned a potato, and they ate that potato, and they were like, I really surprised myself with this one. And they thought, maybe I can do that again. And they decide to skin another potato and cook it. but then they eat it and they know it's just not quite as good as the first potato they did. Because you've already had it. So obviously it's not going to be as good as it was the first time you had it. However, I will say this movie was not a complete and total bust because there were some things I did like about it. You know, such as the overall vibe of it, and, you know, also the, what was it? Around the last 10 to 20 minutes were pretty suspenseful. So I will give it that. The movie wasn't a total waste of time, but it was disappointing because I thought to myself, maybe I can prove the critics and most of the fans wrong, but unfortunately, I just couldn't do that. Number 3, American Pie presents Bandcamp. Now, this movie, I like the American Pie films, okay? I even liked Beta House and Book of Love. I haven't seen Naked Mile yet, but I really enjoyed Beta House, and Book of Love was pretty funny. This, however, was pretty bad, because the plot is just really dumb, because basically this is the plot. A teenager gets in trouble at school for a prank, so his school sends him to band camp, where he decides to take videos of naked girls using spy equipment that he bought online. Yeah, this is a great plot, you guys. Woohoo! And it just sucks because I love the American Pie films. I really loved the first two. The third one I really enjoyed. Not as much as the first two, but I still enjoyed the third one. The sixth one's pretty funny, so is the seventh one, but I haven't seen the fifth or the eighth one yet. But this movie's just not that funny. There's only one funny scene that was in this movie, and it's the sunblock scene, in my opinion. And also, just, like, the only other good parts of this movie was one cameo. I'm not gonna say what it is, because I really don't want to spoil it. But, he plays the, guidance counselor at the school, that's all I'm gonna say, and, Eugene Levy is also in this film. So, you know, that makes the movie pretty good. So, because Eugene Levy makes anything better. His Mr. Levinstein character is absolutely fantastic. But anyway, guys, I'm just gonna really try and get these last two out quick, because I really don't want to make this video too long. I'm hoping to make it under 12 minutes. So anyway, I'm just going to get on to my number 2 pick. Which is, I actually have it on DVD here, Dead Silence. I didn't do a review for this one either, I know. I can't review every movie that I see. As much as I wish I could, I can't. But anyway, Dead Silence takes my number 2 pick. And honestly, it would have been number 1, but once you see my number 1 pick, you're gonna understand why. This, I don't really know what to exactly say. This movie was just extremely disappointing because I heard from so many of my friends who are like, oh, this movie's so messed up, it's so gross. Man, this movie's scary. And I'm just, as soon as I watch it, I'm like, what the hell? I was like, this movie's not even that scary. I was like, there's some scary things, sure, but for the most part, this movie was just disappointing and not that scary. You know things are bad when the scariest jump scare is in the opening DVD menu. Seriously, that was when I got the most scared, was by the opening DVD menu. But actually two good things that I found in this movie. The twist ending is quite nice, and I will say that that was a very, very nice and pretty well thought out twist ending, so I'm gonna give it that. But the overall movie, and the second thing that I thought was really well done was, well, not the second thing I thought was, well, I guess you could say it was really well done, but the second thing that I really enjoyed about this movie was Donnie Wahlberg's character. Even though he plays an asshole cop, and you really wish that this guy would just leave the main character alone, his character was really good, and he was like one of the only things that saved this movie from completely drowning. I'm just gonna say right now that this is James Wan's worst film. Like, 'cause he's made so many good things. Like, he's made Saw, and Insidious, and The Conjuring. Actually, I didn't really care much for The Conjuring, but you get what I'm saying. This guy made Insidious and Saw, and he's made so many good films, yet when he makes this, it's just not good. Then again, this was only his second film. Like, every director has a bad film, so I'm gonna say that. Like, every actor has a bad film, and pretty much every director has a bad film, unless you're talking about Tarantino. But anyway, so, just overall, this movie was just disappointing and James Wan's worst. But I still really like James Wan as a director, so I'm not gonna hate on him for that. Alright, now to my number 1 pick. Ratatoing. You should have expected this was coming. This is the only movie that I've ever given an F rating to. This movie is awful on every single level. The animation sucks. Seriously, I could animate something better with a bottle of mouthwash and a piece of toast. I could animate something better with that. And just the voice syncing was very off. The story I thought was okay. Like, the story I thought was actually, kind of nice for a kid's film, but it's just riding off the success of Ratatouille. And that's what Video Brinquedo does. That's the name of the company. Like, the films that they've made just pretty much rip off a lot of current films, and anything that they've made really sucks, but I will say that this movie's very laughably bad. But you will notice in my review, and I still stand by this now, actually watching the movie's it's not bad, but judging it by a film standpoint, it's just awful. There's really no single good redeeming quality to this movie. It sucks. It's awful on every single level. But the only semi-good thing about this movie was the story. That was the only thing I really thought was good. And the voice acting was also pretty poor. Like, the voice acting, the voice syncing, and the animation was just awful. Pretty much everything about this film is awful, except for the semi-decent story, but it's still riding off the success of Ratatouille, and I didn't end up getting this video done in under 12 minutes, but whatever. So anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed my list of the top worst movies I saw in 2016. Stay tuned for tomorrow on New Year's Eve, when I'm going to be posting my list of the top 10 best movies of 2016. Also, but not only am I just gonna have the top 10 best, but it's going to be, it's going to be the, not only is there gonna be the, top 10 best, but there's gonna be honorable mentions in there, which at least 2 of those you never have seen my review for. But anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe for more content, and remember, you guys, whenever making bad films, say no to drugs.